Floor plan. This is the Miller's new home. Okay. The length of the floor plan. So this is what is on paper. Okay. This is what is on paper. Ooh, that's way too narrow. Let's go here. What is on paper is this floor plan. Okay. And it says that it is 2.875 inches. That's the length. 2.875 inches, and the width is going to be 3.3125 inches. Okay, this is all on paper. So as I look at this house in the picture, okay, and if I were to describe its shape, pretty much, what shape essentially do you see here for the shape of the house? With some extra bump outs. What shape is this house? Oh, lovely. No wonder you can't see. You're like, what? What shape is that house, essentially? It's a square, yeah. So, it says 2.875 by 3.3125. The bump out areas, we're going to say that's the longer side, so that is the width. So from here down to here, this is going to be our width, which is 3.3125 inches. So 2 little apostrophe marks, it's the shortcut for inches. All right, which means our length is going this way from here to here. This is the length, and it is 2.875 inches. Again, 2 little apostrophe marks. If the actual length of the house is 600 inches, so the actual length is 600 inches. What is the scale for this floor plan? Okay. So the actual length of the house is 600 inches. What is the scale for this floor plan? Anybody got any ideas how I would try to figure that out? Any ideas? So here's the actual length. What am I going to be comparing the actual length of 600 inches to? Which of those other 2 numbers? Right. This is the length on paper. So let's set these up. So I'm going to say 600 inches. And this is the actual house. And I'm comparing that to 2.875 inches, which this is the house on paper. Okay? Please stop your notifications and put your phones away. Come on. Everybody, you should have your booklets out, your workbooks. Okay? We are trying to find a scale. All right? Trying to find a scale. Now, since we are dealing all in inches, first of all, let me say, somebody telling you the length of a house in inches is kind of odd. Usually they would tell you it's in what? Length of your house is in feet. But they're doing this to help us out, okay? So what major measurement do you think I'm going to put down here if I'm trying to find the scale on paper? Say it again. Well, yes, for the floor plan. What measurement do you think we would use for the floor plan as part of our scale? No, that's not what I'm looking for. Like what, if you were measuring here on paper and they said, oh, the length of this is 2.875 inches, this would revert back to, or what would you think would be a good measurement to use on paper? I don't think I'm saying it very well. Ding. It would be an inch, right? Wouldn't an inch be a good regular amount to measure on paper? Okay, so on paper, we're looking to see what an inch would represent on paper. Because we know the whole house is 2.875 inches on paper. So 1 inch on paper, we want to say how many inches would that be for the real house. Do I know what that is right off the top of my head? No. So I'm going to put my variable there. What do we call this thing right here where you have a ratio set equal to another ratio? Starts with a P. Rhymes with, I don't know, kind of rhymes with disproportion. Proportion. Yeah, this is a proportion. Okay. How would I solve for x here? How would you solve for x? You guys have had this before. Guys, whoever has the dinging, I know every time that rings, an angel gets his wings. No. What do I do here? How do I solve for variable? How do I get that variable by itself? Couple things you can do. Yeah, we can cross multiply, right? So 2.875 times x equals 600 times 1, which is just 600. And how would I solve for x here then?
Divide both sides by 600. Oh, divide both sides by 2.87.
Yeah, remember we're solving for x. So divide by 2.875, divide by 2.875. Those simplify out, and x is equal to what? There are lots of calculators out and about. Please use a calculator. Or use your phone and use the calculator part of your phone. Come on, guys. What is 600 divided by 2.875?
208.695.
208.695. I'm going to take that and round it to, oh, jeez, I don't know. Let's just round it to the ones place. So look next door, 5 or more, yes. So this is going to go up to 209 what?
Dang, they're not my thing in business.
209 what?
5, 6.
No, I'm saying what's my units there?
Oh, 6, 9. So, next.
What's my units? Should be inches. We have the house as 600 inches. That's the actual length of the house right here. Okay. This was its equivalent length on paper. All right. And we're saying, okay, so what's 1 inch going to be? 1 inch is going to be 209 inches of the actual house. Again, I think it's a little weird because you usually don't talk about the house and that long of a length in terms of inches. So 209 inches is the scale for 1 inch on paper. So 1 inch on paper is 209 inches in real life. The actual house, okay? That is your scale. Any questions about that? All right, so then it says, what's the actual width of the house? What's the actual width of the house? Well, before we can find the actual width of the house, we have to know the width of the drawing. What's the width of the drawing? Yes, so here it is, 3.3125. That's inches. This is on my drawing. Okay. And if 1 inch on paper is 209 inches in real life, then I can take this. I'm going to move this down here. And multiply it by the 1 inch on paper over or underneath the 209 inches in real life. So multiply 3.3125 times, this is your numerator, times your numerator. This times this, and how much do we get? 3.3125 times 209. You guys have helped me decide that I need to do some sort of are you actively participating each day kind of grade. Thank you for doing that, because I can see it's really necessary. Yes. 692.3 125. That is in inches, okay? So the house, its actual width is 692. We're going to cut that off to the nearest whole number inches. Okay? 692 inches. What if I wanted to figure out what that is in feet? Because like I said, that is really weird that we would do this in inches. How would I convert inches to feet? Would I multiply by 12? Would I divide by 12? Divide, yes, divide. Or you can multiply it by the conversion. If you're ever unsure, remember, you want to put your inches so they're on opposite parts of your fraction. So inches on the top is going to cancel out the inches on the bottom, and this is 1 foot. And multiplying 692 times 1 is 692 divided by 12. So how many feet is 692 inches? What is 692 divided by 12? A little bit louder. 57.6 repeating feet. So we'll say it's 58 feet in the width. So this is the real house, okay? 58 feet in width, and in inches, it's 692 inches in its width. Any questions about this? Now, I have a question for you. What if we didn't put this as 1 inch? Let's say we made it into a 1/2 inch. Okay, would it still work out? Would I get the same scale amount? If I made this instead of 1 inch here, let's say I made it 1/2 inch, would I still get the same scale amount? Yes, because you're still using 600 inches for the actual length of the house and 2.875. It's just that for a 1/2 inch, we would get, what? 1/2 inch would be 104.5. It would be half as much, but that is still to scale, as they say. All right. So the next part says, what's the actual area of the house in square inches? So we said this is in the shape of the square. What is the area of a square? What's that formula? How about the area of a rectangle? It's actually more of a rectangle the way they've presented it. But you know, this is just a picture we do to show. Guys, what's the area of a rectangle? Come on. You know, a rectangle looks like this. What's the area? Yes, length times width. Thank you. Length times width. We need to find it in square inches. I think we have both of those amounts. Okay? So, where did it go? Maybe we don't. We have 692 inches for the width. We do have that one. So the width, 692 inches. And did we have the length? Actual length? Do we have the length? Yes, we do. What is the length of the house in inches? Who's buried in Grant's tomb? Who is buried in Grant's tomb? Think about it. Who is buried in Grant's tomb? Mr. and Mrs. Grant. It's right here. The actual length is 600 inches, okay? Don't make it harder than it is, guys. It's right here, 600 inches. So the length over here is 600 inches times 692 gives me a total of what? $415,200. And how would this be labeled if we're talking about area? Square what? Square inches. Square inches. So that is the area of the house, okay? That is a problem on your page, right? Does that talk about it on there? On that page? Okay. The final question of this exercise says, what is the area of the house in square feet? What is the area of the house in square feet? We have it in square inches right now. What is the area of the house in square feet? I want to see, I'm going to give you just like, I don't know, 4 minutes, 3 minutes to see if this is in inches squared for the whole house, how would I find the amount in square feet? Okay? So, everybody, I want you to try this. I just want to see what we come up with, okay? So, everybody, come on. Everybody, talk with your neighbor, compare. If this is in inches squared, what is my answer in square feet? Where is Jasmine? Where is Ken? So everybody got an idea?
12,000.
Okay. Do I have to sign off on that little thing, Jasmine?
Because my counselor signed it, I don't know if it has.
It's actually
It just says leave it time.
4,600.
Do you want to go now, or should I just put 10:30? Or is it? Oh, it's right at 10:30. So you could probably go now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I've got one person who gave me an amount. Hey. This is not helping. Guys, the phones are not helping unless you're using it for a calculator. And I don't think most of you are. All right, so tell me again, what did you get, Teresa? And 34,600 what? What's your units? Do you know? Feet squared or square feet. How did you get that? Okay, so she took 415,200 and she divided that, let's go this way, divided this by 12 to get this answer. What do you guys think of that? Seems logical, doesn't it? Anybody else get a different answer? Okay, this is probably a concept that many students do not get, and that is exactly what most students would do. So, you know, I'm glad that that came up. But yes, we start with 415, 200 inches squared, okay? We know the equivalent ratio is that 12 inches is equivalent to 1 foot, right? The problem is we are trying to get rid of inches squared. So what do I need to do down here with my denominator to get inches squared? I need to square the whole thing. So that means I need to also square the number that's involved there. If you think of a square foot, right, 1 foot by 1 foot, you have 12 inches across the top, right? And you're gonna have 12 inches going this way. That is 144 small inch by inch pieces. So that too needs to go and be distributed with the 12 and the inches. So it's not just 12 inches, it is now 144 inches squared, okay? So that is a really important tip when you're trying to do area. So now I need to take this number, 415,200, and divide it by 144, which is going to give me what? It's going to give you, if you're dividing by a larger number, is my number going to be smaller or larger? It should be smaller. And what is that smaller number?
2883 point, a whole bunch of
2883.33. If you're in the housing market, they would just drop that. So it is 2,883. And, oh, I even kind of forgot, if you're doing this in square inches, this would be 1 foot squared. So this becomes square feet. But that is just the label, because 1 squared is still 1. All right? So this right here is the area of the house. All right? But I think this is a really good concept that you need to keep in mind for your future mathematics type stuff. If you're trying to talk about area and you're using conversions, 1 foot is 12 inches, you have to remember to square the 12 that's there also. Any other questions on this? Okay. So that's all I've got for today. Again, the project will be starting after. I will give you the project paper maybe tomorrow. At least let you see it so you kind of have an idea. Finals are still right around the bend. And we'll be working on the project. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about television size. Do you know when someone says they're buying an 80-inch television, what they're actually measuring? Do you know? Does anyone know? It's probably not what you think. Yeah. It's deceiving. They're being tricky. Okay? All right. That's all I have for today. If you have not finished your project, please get that into me as soon as possible. Okay? If you need to redo your project, ask me questions now. We've got like 8 minutes or so that can answer a few questions. Also, homeworks 1, 2, and 3, those you should be getting finished. Get them done now so you don't have to even think about it over, not that you would think about it over your break, but yeah, Fernanda's like, yeah, right. All right.